This next definition is a mullion anchor. This is what a mullion anchor looks like. The SDI image in the glossary shows two individual pieces. I've personally never seen them installed in that way. I've always seen them like this, which means that for every jam depth you'll have a specific size mullion anchor. Having it, I suppose, cut like this so that you could separate them if you had an unusual jam depth could certainly be done. But this is for a 5 3/4 frame. The overall width of this is about 5 1/2, or perhaps the length or the depth, about 1 3/4 inches. Overall height, about 1 3/8 inches. This is a piece of steel with a white coat galvanized treatment on it to work against corrosion. A couple of holes here to allow you to secure that down to the floor. And I have a piece of jam here. It's not a mullion, it's just a piece of jam. So imagine that this is a mullion. So what happens is you will get this in place. You're going to get your side light frame, your borrowed light, whatever it might be, your side light frame, let's say, into place. You're going to mark where this mullion anchor has to sit. You're going to get that mullion anchor attached down to the floor, pneumatically, a powder actuated sort of tool, get that fired down or screwed down to the floor condition. Then your frame is just going to come over like that and sit right on top of it. At that point, someone would run a mini screw through the face of the jam. I've seen them installed with and without, but no doubt you are going to need a mullion anchor, and you're going to want to secure the mullion to the face of the mullion anchor as well, because what will happen is as the door closes, it's going to make movement on the bottom of that structure, because the bottom of your side light frame, there's nothing connecting the bottom of the mullion down to the ground, as there is no floor anchor that's there. So when you have a three-sided frame, you've got a floor anchor on either side. That is what will initially secure it to the floor. Well, when you have a mullion, there's no floor anchor. We then call it a mullion anchor. It's put down separately and the frame's put on top of it, as we had demonstrated earlier. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the entry in the SDI glossary. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, here is that glossary entry. Mullion anchor, a metal clip or angle in either 1 or 2 pieces. Again, I've never seen them in 2 pieces, but obviously they exist. Probably a really fast way to be jam depth agnostic. You don't need to know what jam depth you have. You have 2 individual pieces. I would prefer a single piece if I had my druthers. Allow the lining up of that to be a little more automatic. Secured to the floor. Then the mullion is positioned over it, just as shown. Okay. Again, you'll want to secure that. A screw, common. I suppose you could weld it if you wanted to try to drill a hole through everything and then plug weld it. Maybe pop rivets. Who knows how imaginative an installer might be in the field trying to get that installed. I've only ever really seen it just with a mini screw, a small little self-drilling tech screw is what it is. Unsightly, but nobody notices that except the hollow metal door guy, quite frankly. So that is the mullion anchor. Let's wrap up this definition on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. This anchor is absolutely necessary. It's as necessary as the wood or metal studs, stud anchors, I should say, or the welded-in Z anchors. Without the mullion anchor, you really can't successfully install the material. There have been times when, the mullion anchor didn't make it on the delivery truck with the frame or frames, and the installer calls and says, "I think I'm missing something. Isn't there supposed to be a U-shaped piece of metal on the ground, on the floor?" Yes, that's the mullion anchor. Yeah, those are in the box. No, they're not. There are no mullion anchors in here. There's only, metal stud anchors or whatever, combination stud anchors. So without those anchors, you've got a stoppage, is the bottom line. My opinion is that you'll keep these in all different kinds of sizes. If you needed to make your own, you certainly could, in the sense of cutting this, spreading it out, taking some steel, welding it in. If you had a need for an unusual jam depth, you might have 7 1/4 jam depth, and for whatever reason mullion anchors were not on hand for that jam depth. You could make your own, or again, the SDI glossary allows this to be a 2-piece installation. There you go. You're compliant with the industry standard glossary for this. If you have any questions on the mullion anchor or any other anchor, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you. You know what's worse than losing your Z-axis on your CNC machine? It's not participating in the Architectural Builders Supply March giveaway. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.